with a picture.
Yeah. Yeah. There we go. It's up over there. It's up over there. So, hit that one. There we go. Yep. Everything looks like it's working.
Okay. Good morning out there. If there's anybody out there.
Doesn't look like there's anyone there yet. Assuming it's actually showing us counts.
Yeah.
Which it may or may not.
Yeah.
Twist guard. I'm just going to be throwing mice here today, but what I can also do is pull up some of the questions that we get asked a lot in the past.
Yeah.
Ugh. Dry lump that got caught up in the twist tie at the top.
Charm.
I'm like, oh, that's a chunk here.
Barbara Surgeon Joan. Good morning.
Hello.
We'll be answering some frequently asked questions. So if anybody has any ideas, any questions,
Let us know.
yeah. Cat Ellen Joy. Good morning.
I suppose one of the questions we get asked a lot is this what we do full time? That's a really frequent question. It's what do we do during the week? Well, for those of you watching, this is what we do during the week.
Throwing, drawing the painting, attaching handles. Helps if I turn on the wheel first. Or how long does it take to make a piece?
Oh, yeah, that's another one. Well, how much time do you spend throwing the average piece? Which I was talking plate, bowl, or plate, bowl, or mug.
2-3 minutes?
Ellie joined. No. So yeah, 2-3 minutes on average for plates, bowls, mugs.
Yeah.
But when you go, how long does it take you to do a platter?
Yeah, that one kind of varies. Depends on which platter.
I'm talking one of the rounds. Not
probably the 5 to 10 minutes. But then those have longer drying times. It's not just the throwing.
Yeah. College one. No. That's what I was specifying how long does it take an item to throw.
We're talking about the Greek pieces.
Well, considering the Greek empora can consist of 3-4 separate thrown pieces.
Yeah.
That have to be assembled.
And those can be up to like 20 minutes a piece.
Yeah. So
throwing burdock joy. Good morning.
Yeah. So just the throwing of an amphora, not the assembly, could take you an hour.
Yeah.
As compared to, in the first 3 minutes of stream, there's already a mug.
But then there's handles.
Yes. Okay. How long does it take you to attach one handle?
Because I've done it so many. Maybe 5 minutes. Probably under 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Just your average handle.
Now that could be a slightly oversized cut.
Jim Diggerjoy. Good morning.
Hello. Also trying to think of how long it takes me to pull the handles. She used to do all the pulling of handles, but when we had so many pieces to decorate, I started doing some of the pulling of the handles. Because there's some handles that it's like
some of the weird Greek ones.
The weird Greek ones, specifically the Kylix handles. I'm still working on learning those.
Because practice.
Kylix handles are thick at either end and in the middle. Oh, Andromaka, hello, good morning.
The Greek pieces are fun.
Yeah, because they're more complicated in terms of construction. Oh, yeah. There's a question, Gaston. What's your favorite style of piece?
It depends on my mood.
No,
Because it would be no fun to always just make one thing.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Kim Joy. No. I just
Listen,
heard
Kim.
it's. I'm going to go stop the Roomba.
Doing here is the any unevenness comes up out the top. That's what I'm doing is I'm just trimming the little bits off the top. And I round it off to make it a nice smooth area where you drink from, because where your lips will be. You don't want rough or sharp edges.
And this is the default shape that she'll make if distracted.
Yeah, the other day it was plates and it was on 3/4 of the way done with. Damn it! It's a mug. It's a cup. It was supposed to be a plate. It's a very nice cup.
I think he turned it into a goblet.
Yeah.
Because it was something that didn't need a handle then. That's why making of mugs is a good time to cover some questions.
Huh.
What kind of when it comes to painting, what's your favorite?
Right now, I'm really been liking doing the Isnick flower pieces.
Yeah. Well, they're kind of coloring book, but you do have a lot of colors.
They're just appealing. I also like doing, for whatever reason, these long script pieces are fun.
The letters are very painterly.
Yes. But those have always just been, I like doing the Italian pieces.
Mm-hmm.
It's the challenge.
Yes. I think that's why you like doing the assembly, the big Greek pieces. Is those pieces are challenging to construct the base piece.
It's the experimental archaeology.
Yeah.
How did they make those?
Closely examining the photographs of the big amphora, going, okay, I think there's a part line right there, trying to find spots where the pieces connect.
Because, I mean, there's no challenge in centering the clay or throwing a basic
Not for you,
mug.
not anymore.
No. But it does take a bit of practice.
And how much practice do you have?
Lots.
Yes.
Decades.
Yes.
Over 40 years.
There's a reason why it looks effortless when she's doing throwing. And for anybody viewing, if we have low resolution again, which seems to have been an issue with Facebook recently, if you head over to either YouTube or Twitch, should be able to get a higher resolution image.
Because we're also
Because we're streaming to 3 sources all at once. So, number of months that we travel during the year.
number of.
Yeah, how much of the year do we travel?
So you will travel in January, once north, once south. And then other than that, it's pretty much March through October.
Yeah. So, good, 7 months out of the year?
Yeah.
I'm hearing her story. No.
Good morning.
I guess most of the events that we do during the course of the year are outdoors.
Except for Highland Games.
Except for Highland Games. Doesn't matter that they're during the warm part of the year. We always go with inside locations for those.
Sometimes I like being inside at the Highland Games.
Well, for one thing, the one in Pleasanton, there can be years where, what was it, 2
over
years ago? When it was 117 degrees out? I was so glad that we were in the building with proper air conditioning.
Yeah. It
So
never got above 80 degrees.
I know. We had, people lining up their folding chairs down the middle of the walkway.
Yeah, totally though.
And we had that one. Oh, Damn, she makes it look easy. Yes. Well, something about over 40 years of throwing.
Don't ask me to do anything like knitting or crocheting, though.
No, you do a couple of stitches when it comes to embroidery.
Yes.
Next piece.
Next piece. Well, that works the muscles in a different way and helps
You use
with
it
my
as,
fine motor coordination.
Yeah. Use it to, loosen up the muscles and regain the fine motor control in your fingers.
Well, because driving
Versus the
uses
squishy muscles.
Driving uses the same muscles that throwing does.
It really
This way.
sucks when
Rather
the
than
hands
this way.
when the hands get tired, because about the only thing that we can do when we've exhausted our hands is watch something on the television. So can't do any hand work, and there are times where even using mouse and keyboard is too much.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we've really done our hands in. Almost got the last of this bag all cut up into blocks.
And yeah,
Why is it still too big?
I don't tend to really look at what I'm throwing a lot, just for mugs, because, well,
Ow!
the thing I had
Sorry. I think it rolled onto your wheel.
all the way to the other side now I have chunk errors.
Do you want me to fix the chunk errors?
Chunks of dry clay on the wet toy.
Yeah.
Thought of that one morning. I thought it was really funny. Because it's a game term.
Yeah. What chunk error generally on the
It's a
soft
chunk
stuff?
of dry
It's
clay.
a chunk. There. Now it won't tumble off. Day, guys. And for hands, see if you can try. Let's see if that'll give you a rash.
Oh, yeah.
You and your skin.
That's why no one will ever see me wearing makeup because, well, I'm allergic to it.
Eat your skin.
Yeah.
Had. First instrument. No. Kill. Nope, still too big. Yeah, I'm sorry. I got most of the chunks off of it, but. Oh, it let go of the bat. Loud.
That one wasn't too loud.
No, but I always flinch away because it's not just the sound. Sometimes I get stutters. Deb Joy. No.
There's
Okay,
a
this.
squint at the screen across the room.
Yeah. So this last piece here is 17 ounces. That is unlikely to be a mug. Second, separate from the others. Oh, my nose itches. But I suppose common questions also. Do we throw pieces with a given design in mind?
Sometimes.
Because
Other times it's just
like today, we're making a lot of mugs. They're going to be open stock. They're going to.
some of them. Yeah.
Some of them will
have
have cats. Some of them will have Italian patterns on them. They'll get a whitewash before they go into the first firing. Because I think we've taken care of all of the orders for mug forms.
Yeah, a lot of the mugs we have in stock.
Yeah, I hope they have better weather than they've been having at Estrella.
Some of those merchants are going to be going from Estrella to Beaufort's. I really feel really bad for the merchants at that event.
Okay.
Because not only did they have all the expense of getting there, some came from states away.
Yeah.
And then it's flooded and all the event.
That's one of the real hazards of being a merchant like this is you are really at the mercy of the weather when it comes to outdoor events.
Yeah.
If there's bad weather, be it excessive heat, excessive cold, rain, wind. It can destroy the sails of an event.
Destroy sales, destroy stock,
Destroys your equipment.
Yeah.
I mean, one of our biggest wasn't sure whether you call it setback or just one of the first times we encountered a serious issue, that an unexpected serious issue, was we had a trailer that it had a faulty axle. It snapped the axle on the way to an event. We did make it there. What was it, 6 hours late?
Yeah. And the head of the event got mad at me for being late.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we also had friends who went, why didn't you post that you were having issues on the road? We didn't even think of it. We were kind of tied up in thinking about the fact that we had seen far too many tents blow away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because people complain about the water. Yeah, water's awful.
Water's one thing.
Yeah, but
wind will just rip things to shreds.
Wind will cause more damage immediately. I mean, the problem they had, all those pictures from Australia with the flooding.
I'm amazed that they haven't had more damage from the wind, because you can see the flapping banners.
Yeah. I mean, people, some people, what they sell is damaged by water.
Yeah. And nobody wants to wade into a booth where there's 6 to 8 inches of standing water inside the tent.
Yeah.
Seeing the pictures, it's like, oh. I mean, we're lucky in that way because we have pottery.
Not damaged by the water.
No. There's times during August when we're up in Washington where we'll have a table that's set halfway outside. And we'll have those lovely August thunderstorms, which will drop like an inch of water in an hour. And people are like, your pottery's getting wet. And I'm like, yep.
Oh, yeah, sometimes the price tags
will get washed off.
Yeah. But, yeah.
But, yeah, wind. You can pretty much tell anyone who's been through a bad windstorm in a tent, because they crouch and tense, and they just look like a nervous cat, just wanting the wind just needs to stop.
Yeah.
Sandstorm blow through.
God, that was terrifying.
Yeah, it was 4 hours of 60-mile-an-hour winds in a pavilion. So the whole structure was humming, all the ropes. But the wind was always coming 60-mile-an-hour winds. They would have had to get me from the ditch about 5 miles away.
One of our signs for our pendants was
returned to us from somewhere in camping.
Yeah.
John Flynn joined. I know. But that wind was less damaging because it was all from one direction, and there were roving teams of people going around with rope and extra stakes, making sure that any tent still They made sure that any tent still up stayed up.
Yeah. That was a year where the wind was so strong it blew the privies over.
Yeah. I'm just glad nobody was in those.
That would have been nasty.
But that evening, it was after the wind had stopped, and we had that lovely little rainstorm, which stuck the dust to everything. We took one look at our kitchen area and went, you know what? Not hungry.
There was even dust inside the closed boxes.
Yeah. It was vile. Yep. Most of the shows I do are farmers markets, so the tents have a center pole. Everyone does the merchant pose, standing in the center of the booth, grabbing that pole. Yes.
Yeah.
That was a different event. That was a Ren fair during the week, and we had one of those little EF-Zeros come through. Us and a half dozen other merchants were all sitting behind a coffee booth because that's where they had power, so we had our laptops out. And they went, oh, it's windy. So we all reach over and grab a pole of the pop-up we were sitting under. Smart. And held on for dear life.
Water.
It blew over an entire rolling steel shelf unit full of water and watermelons and sugar containers,
Oh,
and
so messy.
soda cans.
We did our best to clean
It
it up.
took, it was what, 4 10x10s? That was the main part of the booth, and walked them forward, what was it, 2 feet?
Yeah, it didn't quite land on my
Our
car.
car was in front of it. It stopped this close.
But the first aid booth ended up
On top of a castle wall.
Yeah,
Like a
upside
dead
down.
bug.
Yeah.
Oh, the wonderful wind stories. But yeah, all, what was it, 6 or 8 merchants that were behind the coffee booth at that point, we all held on. It's like, oh, wind, grab hold of the pop-up.
You
And
don't
then-
run away from it. Yeah.
And then we all just were sort of hanging on for dear life because there was a lot more wind than we thought there was.
Well, you get the dust devils. I thought, oh, it's a big dust
that
devil.
was
No
a
big
really
deal.
big dust devil. As compared to when we do events that are on the coast where we see people setting up in the little pop-ups and it's like, make sure you stake it down. Those things turned into tumbleweeds and then you have metal sculpture afterwards.
Gold Beach.
And every year in Gold Beach there's at least one person who doesn't stake their pop-up down and next thing you know you see it off in the dumpster. Or you have the ants descend on the broken pop-up with your duct tape and your sticks for splinting the broken struts
Extra
and the extra
ropes.
rope, the extra stakes. It was that one bookseller that his pop-up was resurrected in, was it like 3 minutes?
Yeah.
It's like you can't just
You can't
tether it
just...
to the tables and weather like in that location.
Oh, you should not do that anywhere.
Oh no. I suppose even when we were growing up in San Francisco East Bay, that we had the winds all the time, so
Always had
people
the
didn't
winds.
even do that there. Because there was
The St. Patty's Day celebration.
the St.
in
Patty's
Dawn.
Day celebration.
They had all the vendors set up
On the street.
in parking lot.
So they were all just tethered to cement blocks.
Yeah.
Lots of cement blocks.
They came. It was really windy that weekend, so they were coming around with sandbags.
And I'm looking at that sandbag going, yeah, right. But I suppose that's one thing that, most merchants who do a lot of traveling have lots of is weather stories.
Oh yeah.
Because there was once when the two of us were headed to 2 separate events. Devin's off to work. Thank you for sharing. No problem. I like talking to people. It was that one year when the two of us were headed off to different events
Yeah.
in March.
Where you have the most.
You were headed north into Oregon. I was going to be headed down to Woodland. And I had already gotten our stuff loaded into a friend's car. Resurrected. Does that mean it was a Poppenstein? I'm like,
yes, it was.
Yes.
But the merchant never came back.
No, they did not. The booth's name was Under the Mango Tree.
Yeah.
It was such an odd name, I remember it. But yeah, that once was enough for them.
It's like with poor cell reception. Beautiful weather, but it gets windy because you're near the coast.
Yeah, we're like, what, is it a mile from the coast?
Maybe 4 miles.
I was talking
the
as the
beach.
crow flies, not via the road.
Yeah.
Or Alexander Joy. I know. Oh,
If anybody,
pretty shaped mug.
if anybody else has some good weather stories. Sure.
Only once did we ever cancel out. And that was that March. It was the year they had some water spouts going down Ocean Beach. And I know that the Woodland site floods.
Heard from one of our buddies there.
They got halfway set up, discovered their booth was already 2 inches deep in water, and their poles had sunk another 2 to 4 inches.
And that's the first time they'd ever
gotten half set up, and then tore everything back down.
Yeah.
Jim Connor joined. Hello. And as I said earlier, if anybody's having issues with low quality footage here on Facebook, can head over to our YouTube, the YouTube version of the feed. It's a lot clearer. Heard that from someone last stream that it'll run like a second or two behind this one because they pulled up both of them to see what the differences were. It's like, image, comparison shots. Yeah, and the one that you were headed, the event you were headed up to that March. Got canceled due to snow. What was it, like 2 feet of snow?
Yeah.
Jeffrey, enjoy. No.
If anybody has any questions, feel free to ask. Or if there's something you would like to see me throw other than just mugs.
We're low on mugs, which is the reason why it's like, okay. And they take pretty much no concentration on her part.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter the size of the piece of clay. If she gets distracted, it has a good chance of ending up mug-shaped.
Yes. Things don't go pear-shaped, they go mug-shaped.
Well, with the overall shape of those mugs, the lower half of them is pear-shaped.
Middle Eastern-shaped mugs.
Oh, do some of the roundy ones?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we have more than maybe one of that shape up on the shelf right now.
Yeah.
You want me to bring up a source image?
Yeah, bring up a source image.
Okay. I apologize if this might cause a bit of lag in the screen for a moment. Yeah, you look like a good example. There we are. The original of this one is in the Smithsonian. It's even got the scale. Recently went through a lot of these images and updated the images to as high resolution as defined. Inserted the size and reference, museum number, all that sort of good thing. So it's right there on the piece. And of course, all the measurements are in centimeters. How tall is that? 14. Oh, so yeah, we've been doing them pretty much true to size, Mom.
Oh, there we go. This thing with photographs, you can't really, you don't always have
that
good
cup
sense of scale.
is about 5 inches tall. No, 5 to 5.5 inches.
Okay.
And about that wide. Because, yeah, width, yes, it's slightly wider than it is tall.
Brian Porter joined. Good morning. I'm going to be trying some Middle Eastern mugs.
And none of those pieces, I think, are going to be big enough to do the full-size version of that. I'd have to change up the size of one of those pieces.
Good.
Because I think we need more of the 30... Well, that one's got an uneven spot.
Yeah. That one could be that one's a prime target for being a picture.
I have this small piece here. Just take a chunk off. Reweigh that. There we go. Now it's like the 34 ounces.
Do like that.
Yeah.
Just cut it off.
Other piece. There. Now you have 2 larger size pieces.
Be nice if that's how you can deal with a lot of problems.
You just cut them off.
Squish them up to the top and then
cut them off. Okay, so these 2 pieces here are larger size chunks of clay.
Okay.
That you can do that one with.
Mm-hmm. Go. Mug.
Yes. Okay, and at this point you have thrown 2, 4, 6, 8.
And there's a whole
11.
block of text.
I remember when I first started in the SEA, I was at a March Crown, or should I say Marsh Drowned, and had to wear 2 pairs of socks with large plastic bags between the layers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a number of March Crowns like that.
At least they haven't held it in the foothills of the Sierras.
In about 30 years.
Yeah.
Why, how I say that?
My brother was an infant at the time when
He's
they
going to
had.
turn 31 in a couple of weeks. He was a baby.
It was the Freeze in the Trees, followed the next year when they repeated it with the Donner Family Memorial Union.
Yeah, it was in Auburn. It was off at 80. So, yeah.
In March.
In March. Which could be anything, honestly.
And the thing is though I would have only been, was it 3, 4 at the time? Like 3 and a half.
That's the reason for the slurp monster.
It was to keep me out of the puddles
at that event.
Terrifying. You're a small child with tales of the slurp monster living in the mud puddles that was going to suck her down.
You liked something,
Splashing,
but it was so cold there.
Yeah, it was really to protect me. That was back in '83.
Yeah.
Marsh Drown, and then
Marsh Drown, yes.
Yeah.
I might have been at that one too.
You had lots of wet tales of
Wet tales, yes. But it would have been 85 when they had it. No, 89 because he was born in 88.
Mm-hmm. And you didn't go that year because he would have been. Yeah, he would have been like a week or 2 old.
Yeah.
It was the following year, so yeah, I would have been like 4 and a half. It would have been 89 when they held it in Auburn. I guess they haven't held it in Auburn again.
No.
At the Freeze in the Trees. And though I was only like maybe 4-ish at the time, I remember bailing and going to a motel.
Yes.
Being the miserable, soggy person at a motel. Well, you were making that shape, right?
Yeah.
It's just stage 1 there.
Stage 1.
That's why I really feel sorry. I feel for the people that have been at Estrella this year.
Oh,
because last night Guy was going on about he was wet, there was still an inch or 2 of water in his pavilion, and he could see his breath inside his tent. And it's just, that's nasty and dangerous. Julian, no. So one thing is, I don't miss not going to Estrella.
I miss seeing some of the people
who saw there. We only ever saw them at that one event, but I don't miss the weather. I don't miss the 1,100-mile drive.
I don't miss being sick for a month afterwards.
Yeah, because of the local microflora and fauna that lives in the dust down there. And just make you sicker and sicker every year.
People have heard me talk about allergies.
Yes, and she's looking at the source material. And she's actually been able to reference what she's throwing remotely because she gets a different angle of the viewing the piece that she's throwing, courtesy of the footage being up on the screen. So she can look down and see the vessel she's throwing. She can look over there and see the feed with the source material and her throwing.
Oh, that drop of clay just landed on my foot. No, I don't have anything on my feet, so it just would splat onto the top.
Well, it's not as much of a health and safety issue when you have an electric wheel, a purely electric wheel throwing barefoot. It's one of the warnings on big kick wheels is do not throw barefoot.
I do have a kick wheel.
She has a motorized kick wheel in addition to 2 electric wheels.
Yeah. And I would
Yeah,
like to have
Kelly's
enough
the
space
dark
to
one.
set them up so I could do classes.
Yeah, because we do have enough equipment.
Yeah.
Mind you, we are going to have to repair our extruder soon.
It's
That's one of the things I need to do. I need to get online and look up North Star and see if I can find if they sell the replacement push plates.
They probably do.
Because the plastic is cracked in like 2 places.
After like 17 years.
After 17 years of hard use, it's finally, the plastic is separating at the edge of the metal support plate. That one's got a nice big globy shape.
Mm-hmm.
First, I really like how those ones fit in the hand. Because they're very much hand warmer mugs. I swear that the little tiny handles on them must have been largely just to hook one finger through, maybe the thumb. It's more the support point than a grip handle.
Trying to get the foot
Because they're little tiny feet.
just the right shape there.
The foot is actually smaller than the mouth of the vessel.
Yeah.
These people obviously did not have cats.
Not very practical.
No. And that is one of the things we'll frequently modify when it comes to making replica vessels, as we'll do small adjustments to make it more practical for modern use. A lot of handles will be slightly larger than they were, because not everybody has little tiny hands.
Because go.
Yeah. Let's see if I hold it right there. Yeah.
Those obviously take a little longer.
Yeah.
3 minutes.
And you have a second piece of clay. That's probably going to be like a good 30-ounce vessel.
Yeah.
Good for tea.
Yes.
Oh, that's what I didn't do before we started throwing. I didn't get any tea
I'll
started.
get my tea hot.
Yeah, if I get the tea brewing before we get to throwing, hers is lukewarm before she's done. And she's sad. Not that it takes very little time at all for her to center the clay. There's the muscles flexing in the backs of her hands there.
Yeah, that's what when people are first starting, that's what takes the longest is the centering. Because you have to plant your elbows, put it on the insides of my knees here, and then press them onto the edge of the wheel. Because you want them to be just hold still. Because, okay, if I see now it's all lumpy again. I do this. If I'm not doing anything, it's moving my hands. But no, you want your hands to stay still.
And there it's centered again.
There it's centered again. Because it's push in and down. Because if you just push in, it's just going to go up.
You're going to keep extruding it upwards.
This. And if you have things that are uneven, sometimes what you can do is wedge it on the wheel. See how I'm making it go up and down. Some instructors say you have to do that before you get it all the way centered. Everybody's different.
It also depends on the consistency of your clay.
Yeah. If you're using fresh clay, if you're using recycled clay, it could be kind of lumpy, bumpy, and kind of all over the place.
Also, if clay is soft to begin with, doing the wheel wedging is just going to make it
softer.
Yeah, it's going to make it softer, and it's going to make it harder to throw.
Because you're adding water to it. So have hands on, one hand on the inside, one hand on the outside. You make sure that they are aligned, and that's how you pull the sides up, make it taller and thinner. Because if I didn't have them in the same place,
Now she's making it all lumpy again.
see, you'd end up with that. But I can do that.
Now she smoothed it out on one side, and here she is, getting all the unevenness back out. Poof.
That's annoying. A little bit of gradu at the top there. And now make it go.
Now from
out,
cylinder
and
to
make
sphere.
as you make it bigger around, it makes it shorter because you're changing the proportion of the mass of the clay. Let's make its butt a little smaller. No one wants a big butt.
Now, one of the things that throwing for so long has done, particularly once you started doing it for a living, is it's changed. You've actually built up a muscle across your back and chest a lot. And in your, around your elbows and in your fingers, you actually changed your ring size. Well, that's got an uneven lip right now.
Yeah, it's okay. That's what you do to perms, you cut them off. Helps to have small hands sometimes.
Yeah, a brother with larger hands wouldn't be able to get their hand onto the inside of the vessel right now, would they?
No.
I wonder if that means that the average hand size of the potters who threw that style of piece was they had small hands.
Probably.
It's the hypnotic quality of watching something that's spinning. It's just staring at it there. You know, when it comes to decorating pieces, there really isn't an average time, is there?
No.
And then people ask how long things take, and it's like, well,
For what? For what piece?
for what piece, for what style? Because Viking kittens, that kind of pattern, take what, 5 minutes to draw and another 10 minutes to paint, maybe?
Maybe 20.
Maybe 20 minutes. Yeah, especially when it comes to choosing the coat patterns
And the eye colors.
and the eye colors.
And the shield colors.
But
There's
as
lots of things
compared
choose.
to, say, something that's even similar size but different style of decoration, it is new patterns.
Hours.
Yeah. The shading, the color, and the elaborate little thin
A lot of the Italian stuff that's shaded takes longer than the stuff that's just
layers of shading.
yeah.
Just a lobster joy. Hello. And then there's the pieces that just have a lot of surface area,
Yeah.
like the amphora, which have square footage.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the serious square footage when you're talking about
doing
yeah, those are fun.
They're heavy.
They're heavy. Occasionally I have to go sit on the floor so I can brace it with my feet while I'm decorating the side.
There we go.
And some people, we don't sit at the table when it comes to painting pottery. And it's even in much earlier periods, since there's actually drawings of Italians, Renaissance Italian drawings where they're working on decorating pottery. They held it in their laps. They had a nearby table with paints and of various kinds, underglazes, effectively. And they'd just be holding it in their lap like this.
Much
Because it's a round object. You can't set it on the table, and when you're working on a plate, you need to angle it correctly. Do I need to dispose of that bat? I mean, if it's that sad that you're throwing it aside.
Well, it's only got one, but it's really bad.
Yeah, that is a bad crack. It's got that San Andreas going there. So the bats that she throws on, they're masonite. They last for a certain number of years, and then they die horrible, slow deaths. And, well, then they're disposed of. And back to the normal mugs. Close that.
Except for normal tea?
Normal tea, yes. We're talking to people who are in other countries. We're playing a game. And it's like, oh, as we just gotten ourselves some tea. And he talked about, it's like, oh yes, he's having some tea as well. It's like, oh, what sort of teas? Normal tea. And I think about our cupboard where we have, what? Dozen different kinds of tea? Both
what do you want?
Green tea, black tea, various forms. And if anybody is having issues with video quality, there's a link to our YouTube channel right up in the description. If you want to head over there, it generally has a much higher resolution because we cast to 3 different services simultaneously. And as compared to the last one, the big rounded mugs, which are very specific in shape, doesn't take her much time at all to throw this shape. Considering you're just down to the refining of the edge now. Oh, you're on the second to last piece.
Yeah.
So we are just about done with the stream today.
Yeah.
I think it's 15 mugs. Final count here. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11, 14. Yes. This one here will be number 15 and the last mug of the day. Echo cream join. No. Knee fingers. That was loud. That one was loud. I'll put it this way. People who are watching, the mic has a peak volume.
Yeah.
They won't get quite the volume spikes that I do.
Yeah. You think you're getting the volume spikes. It is right here.
There's sometimes where you smack the clay down and it like reverberates off the walls.
Oh, I know. There's one here and one here.
And it bounces off the monitor.
Sometimes littering.
Yes, there is little bits of clay on both of my screens from that.
Yes, these computers and clay can coexist in the same room.
Actually, surprisingly well. It might make my keyboard a little crunchy on occasion. The other day, I actually partially disassembled it because I picked up the keyboard and it's like, it rattles. It hasn't been dropped on the ground ever. It rattles. Turn the keyboard over and start shaking it and I'm like, oh.
What did you have of what was in there was camphor?
It was a combination of clay and camphor. Yes. And the cat fur was what was preventing the clay from coming back out of the keyboard. And I did like half disassemble it because apparently this variety of keyboard does not come all the way apart. So we discovered. It's like there was one hidden screw somewhere in the middle. Never could find it.
keyboards are ultimately disposable anyway. So.
Yeah. I mean, I've worn most of the surface texture off of one side of the wrist rest.
I want the paint off of the E key.
I'm the one who uses their keyboard cut with my hands covered in clay. You'd think that I would have been the one who ground some of the letters off. Nope. All mine are still perfectly visible. There's shiny places on the keyboard from the keys that get heavy use. And you
I
can
think
tell
it's
which
just that my
hand
skin might have clay
embedded in it.
Yeah.
The base texture of the skin on your fingers is more abrasive.
Probably.
Well, after all, you're the one who can take tarnish off of silver and brass with your fingers.
Copper.
And copper. And shine it up with your fingers.
Red Wolf. And
George
I
Copper's
can.
And Philip Pettis.
Because copper just gets so dirty. And I go, all you have to do is rub it with your fingers. Because that doesn't work. You need to do this. And I go, betcha. So I picked up this one fidget.
This is one of her copper bracelets. It never gets polished. That is just natural contact with her skin that keeps it that color.
Yes. I stood there for 15 minutes and just
rubbed all the tarnish off of that copper leaf.
Yeah. It's not supposed to work.
That's a nice bug. That wasn't even that big of a piece of clay.
It was a friendly piece of clay.
Okay, and with that, do you want to throw more or do you want to stop there? Because we do need to make at least one skiffos of the 14 to 18 ounce size.
Yeah, I could do skiffos.
Skiffoy? I don't know what the plural
Skiffos
is. Skiffos is?
That sounds funny.
That's when you're trying to come up with the plural forms of foreign language nouns. And you're not even sure you're pronouncing the word correctly in the first place.
Yeah.
Feels pretty even. The clay that arrives in the most variable state is the clay that we use for making the Greek stuff. And the last batch was on the firm side. Okay. So will you be needing me to bring up a Skiffos picture?
That'd probably be a good idea.
Because these are going to be the 18 ounce size, so I'm going to cut you off a piece that's more than full mug size.
Yes.
Probably cut you off more than one because that way we have options.
Yes. Okay, we'll handle one this way, one this way.
Yes. 2 different handles. Okay, that's a 27 ounce piece. What's the decoration on this one going to be? Dolphins!
Dolphins!
And they're going to be black figure dolphins. Okay. So pardon any slowdown while I pull this to one side and get a piece of source material up. Might help if I switch to the right water. Oh, yeah. She has 3 different buckets over there. One's red clay water, one's white clay water, one's black clay water. Because that way she doesn't end up with as much mush color on the surface of them. Which is the biggest deal on the light colored clay. But you don't want to contaminate your light colored clay water. Let's see. Nope, that's the wrong folder. That's the folder I want. That's probably it. That is not. That. Copy here. And open. Yeah. Zoom it into this lower image. It's not going to have this design on it, but I pulled this up as a good base. example of skiffos shape.
Yep.
Mind you, some skiffos have the handles both facing the same direction, so like on this one, they're both horizontal. Some of them will have one of them turned to the normal handle direction, so it'll be vertical. So you'll have two different forms of handle, which is what this one's going to have on it. And there's all sorts of variants in terms of shape of skiffos. Some of them are taller.
There's no
There's no definitive shape. This one is just pretty average.
$18.
Yeah, 14 to 18 ounce. Which looks like that one should hold that kind of quantity.
Yeah.
So that's about the right size piece of clay?
Yeah.
Okay. And this one's 28 ounces. It's going to make a second one, just in case.
Take off the hands.
So it gives us the opportunity to pick the better one for the design when it comes to actually completing the order. The chair slid. It rolled a lot more than I was like.
Sad.
Why, thank you. As I sat down in the chair and it rolled back like 1.5 feet. It's like, stop chair.
Damn you.
It let go. Ah, there we go. Let go again.
Make a loud noise.
Got me though.
In the face.
Yep. That's why I don't just brace and just, cover my ear or something. I generally turn my face away because I have gotten it in the eye before. As well as it getting the scream, it's gotten me in the eye. Ugh, looks like I'm going to have to clean out your wheel head soon.
Yeah.
I think the bucket's relatively empty. Because yes, as you can see, around the spinning part of the wheel there's just the mounds of trimmings.
Trimmings right there.
And on the other side as well.
Yeah.
That's largely from...
Anybody want free recycle clay? Come pick it up.
We'll load it into bags for you.
Yeah, we'll load it into bags and you can have it.
It has the mechanical assistance to taking scrap clay and recycling. It's a device called a pug mill, which costs between $5,000 and $10,000, which means it's a very, very long time for it to pay for itself. When your average bag of clay costs what?
Depends on the clay.
Depending on the clay, but
that costs anywhere from $12 to $30 a bag, which is 25 pounds.
So from $24 to $60 a box.
A box.
So yeah.
We usually buy it by the ton.
In which case you get the volume discounts. Because lots of clay. When we talk about purchasing a ton of clay, it's no euphemism.
Sure. Yeah. But then they get upset because I don't have a loading dock.
Oddly enough.
My driveway.
Oddly enough, our residential
driveway is big enough to fit a full-size semi, by the way.
Yes, it is.
How many people can say that?
What's scary is watching it back up into the driveway. Because it closes off the entire road briefly.
Yeah, well, it's only a 2-lane road. No sidewalks.
No. And everybody's, verge is kind of grassed in at this point.
Yeah.
So it looks like everybody's lawns go straight to the edge go right up to the edge of the road. There is gravel in there.
Yeah, you can park there.
Oh yeah, park there, no problem. Visitors tend not to because they think it's part of the yard.
Technically it is.
Technically it is. But it's like, guys, no, that's safe to park on there.
Well, in the winter, people are, always a little more skittish.
Yeah. But I have to say that's one thing about the ground here is it drains really, really well.
It does.
It's not even like our road has a drainage ditch to one side. The ground just drains.
Well, it does in some places.
Yeah, down the street a bit.
Yeah.
Right here, nope.
Well, it does slightly slope that way.
Yeah. Oh, it doesn't look like that one's far off from done. Shall I close up the bag now? Or do you want?
We want to do some more mugs.
If we do 2 more mugs, we'd level off the bag. Because I also don't want you to end up with sore muscles.
Yeah.
And with Stiffos on the docket, there's going to be a lot of handles to do.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of handles. Go. So I'll cut you off 2 more pieces, and then we'll call it there.
Yeah.
Hey, Kessler and Chris Howard to join. No. Build up on the hands.
Yeah. Did that.
Oh.
Got the dry stuff off of the bag I just put down.
Yeah.
Gooey.
Well, this would be a slightly larger cup at 30 ounces.
Okay.
Go. And then the last piece for the day. Okay, this is also going to be 30 ounces.
Fine.
It can be that size. These don't have to be any given specific size. These are going to be open stock mugs. Go. Get the piece. Form and roll. There. Now we have a form in the green folder again. And for anyone who has recently joined, if the stream on Facebook is blurry, you can head over to the version over on YouTube. Because that one does have higher resolution. I have no idea what was constraining the resolution on Facebook the last several streams. But there is the option to go and get better resolution elsewhere. Going up. And this is one of the clays that'll actually stain your hands, right?
Yeah. Well, it's red. What makes
Iron
clay red?
oxide.
With red iron oxide.
Rust. And rust will stain. One of the reasons why I suppose our blood doesn't stain as much as other people's. Whole family's anemic. Genetic.
Yeah.
It means, cuts and things don't get infected readily because they bleed out really well. So they stay clean.
Yeah.
Unnerves people, though.
Oh, yeah, damn. We'll stop bleeding in a few minutes.
Do you need a band-aid? Nah, it'll stop bleeding eventually. No big deal.
Doing a demo.
Oh, yes. The time you sliced your thumb open.
On a tool, mind you.
Some of the tools that she has are basically they have serrated edges. They're for doing design work on the surface of the pieces. And there was one of them that was brand new and still had a sharp, and it was actually teardrop shaped the edge, serrated all the way around. And
this nice point.
Yeah, that nice point gashed your thumb open.
Yeah, so I did
during the middle of a demo.
That was watching, because he started turning green. Oh, it's okay. Well, put a band-aid up. My hands are covered.
Bright red clay versus chocolate. Bright red blood versus chocolate brown clay.
Yeah.
I suppose it is better than if it had been white clay. Potentially left little blood streaks over the surface.
So I just did the rest of it with
you held your finger shut.
Yeah.
And by the time you were done demoing, the cut had sealed.
But clay also draws out any toxins out of it, so it's gonna be good. smells like fibers using duct tape to cover it.
Okay, oh, gotta get rid of that plastic. So with that, you will have thrown 1 1/3 bags of clay.
Okay.
And that'd probably be a good place to stop so you don't give yourself any angry muscles.
Treat me like a little old lady that way. I'm kidding. Really, I am.
It's kind of like if you tell me to not hurt myself when packing. Yes, no, you're a necessary part of the equipment. No hurting yourself. You're like, thank you, Mom. I guess I have a valued pack mule. It would be really awkward to get everything packed or anything like that if one of us were to like twist an ankle again, or heavens forbid, like break an arm or something.
Oh, that would be awful.
That would be no, just bad, all sorts of bad.
Break an arm, that would just.
No.
Spraining a wrist is bad enough.
Yeah, that's bad enough.
Just joining my elbow, that was also pretty bad.
Yeah.
I did that pulling weeds, by the way. That yarn hates me. I mean, I was pulling weeds.
And you effectively sprained your elbow. You put your elbow out of joint.
Yeah.
And you have weird elbows.
Yeah.
You had a chiropractor try to deal with one of them once.
They went to never touch it again.
Yeah, because it disabled your arm for a month.
I couldn't bend my arm.
He locked the joint.
It was weeks before
What
it worked.
joint? No. I'm just throwing the last cut for the day. But of course, for those that missed the earlier parts or want to go back and watch, can go back and watch the video again via Facebook, or you can go over for higher resolution to YouTube. We're still working on getting enough subscribers so we can have our customized URL on YouTube. I think we're at 42 right now?
We're at 42. We need 100.
We need 100. We need 100 subscribers to get our customized URL.
So we'll be going.
Yeah, like the alphabet soup you can see right there. Well, I suppose it's alphanumeric soup. There's a couple numbers thrown in there. But yeah, that's a lot of alphanumeric soup for the YouTube channel. Arthur, hello. Just on the last piece of the morning here. Oh, that's a nice shaped mug.
I'll make a slender.
It's one of the silicone ribs there.
And voila.
There we go. That you have 19 pieces up here, and you will be needing 21 handles. Because 2 of them are
pieces in just over an hour.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I think that towel's done.
You could just about wring that one out.
And thank you everybody who stopped and watched and made comments. Bye bye. Let's see if I can find the right video.